Now we're going to try a chip shot. So we've selected a sand wedge. Now many people get confused because they hear or see the S on the club, or it says sand wedge, and they're thinking that you only use this club out of sand. I want you to think more about that sand wedge just having a number of, or a degree of loft to it. So 56, 54, that's your common sand wedge loft. So we'll use a sand wedge for this chip shot. The ball on a chip shot is going to go higher than a bump and run, but lower than a flop shot where the ball is quite elevated. This is your most common shot around the green. Now our setup with the chip shot, we're going to have the stance again narrow, okay? And we'll place that club right behind the ball very tight. Again, we don't want to have the handle forward, as we want to have the true loft of the golf club. In fact, we're going to try to use the bounce of the golf club, and we might even feel like we're hitting this a little bit in the ground first before the ball. So we're splashing the ground, trying to get the ball to pop up a little bit. To help us increase our speed, we'll use our wrists much more than we do in the bump and run style shot. So the ball is set again, middle of your stance or a little bit forward. I can't stress enough again, if you keep on hitting the ball or the ground, before the ball, a couple of inches, like more towards the back of your stance, then place the ball there. That is okay. So the handle again is more neutral. We don't want to have this handle forward where the leading edge starts to turn down into the ground. I find that's going to really be a cause of the club getting stuck into the ground, and we're not using the bounce of the golf club. As we swing back, we'll pull that club straight back and add a little wrist. When we're bringing the club through, you'll drive the handle through towards the target and really make sure that you keep your left hip or your lead hip moving backwards. And the handle is going to create some space for the handle to move through. And then we'll release the club head down into the ball as we strike. The wrist action in the chip shot is of priority, and we really want to understand what the club face should look like as we swing the club back. We don't want to have a lot of rotation with the club face on the way back in this basic chip shot. Pretty still, bringing the club straight back and then just lifting the club head up with our wrists only, just to get the club to about waist high. And when we get there, I like to see the leading edge just maybe a smidge toe down. So we don't really want to have a lot of rotation on the way back. We want to be in very good control of our golf club as we swing it back and through. Now to impact, we will release the club face, or the club head, through impact, but timing here is critical. We have to be very careful that that club head doesn't get in front of our wrists. To manage that, I like to keep the handle moving. Right, so although my club head is releasing into the ground and I'm feeling a bounce, my left hip keeps on pulling backwards around my body, and the handle follows as I release. So it might feel a little bit like a scoop, but the reality is the handle is just a little bit forward at impact. Okay, how about we head out into the short game area and try this shot out. All right, so now we're gonna do this basic chip shot. Now I've got a lot more rough in front of me and, about 50-50 green to rough. So I'm gonna try that chip shot here.